One of the cool things Dave's going to learn to master here is how to put both the agenda and Zoom on at the same time.
I've mastered it.
Good.
It's called print the agenda.
Or you go with two screens.
Oh, two screens. Yep.
You're live.
All right. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, to the City Council meeting, November the 24th, 2020. Madam Clerk.
Prior to roll call, the city attorney would like to make an announcement regarding the teleconferencing of this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Governor Gavin Newsom's order N-25-20 allows public meetings like this one to be held by teleconference to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. The procedures adopted for this meeting meet or exceed the standards set forth in the order and under the Brown Act. After the clerk has conducted roll call, I'll ask the mayor to recognize me to confirm certain matters for the record. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Alone.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins.
Here.
Vice Mayor Zafar.
Here.
And Mayor Clarkson.
Here, Martin, ball's back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would now like to verify that all members of the council can hear me well, that all members of the council have been able to hear all previous speakers, including the roll call, and that each council member believes, based on facial or voice recognition or otherwise, that all persons representing themselves to be council members are in fact council members.
Yes.
I get five
Attorney looks
thumbs.
a little different. Will you find a barber or what?
See 5 affirmative responses, and will remind the mayor as I turn it back over to you that any votes taken during this meeting must be taken by roll call. Thank you.
Will do, Martin. Thank you for the reminder. Madam Clerk,
Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance.
this being my last official city council meeting, at least the one that will be full length, I reserve the honor to do the pledge myself today. So if we could all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Madam Clerk.
Item 3, Announcements. 3.1, Changes and additions to the agenda. We have none. Item 3.2, if you'd like to speak under public comment or any item on the agenda, please click the raise your hand button or *9 on your telephone. Item 3.3, boards, committee, and commission meetings. A complete list of any upcoming meetings can be found on the city's website, and you can subscribe to those pages for automatic notification. Item 4, public comment.
Public comment, and we have 2 of those at each of our meetings, one at the start, one at the end, is reserved for anybody, any resident who would like to speak to the council on any item that's not on the agenda. We ask that you address your comments for 3 minutes or less. Madam Clerk, do we have any written comments too?
I have not received any written comments for public comment. However, those in the audience, this is the time to use the raise your hand button or *9 on your telephone.
And we'll give them a couple of seconds here to do so. There is a second opportunity at the end of the meeting if there is something that you would like to speak to. Any hands raised?
No.
Okay, I will close the public comment. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 5, consent calendar.
The consent calendar, all the items on that are deemed routine in nature, and we vote them usually at one time. Anybody from the audience or from a staff member or a council member can ask for an item to be pulled for further discussion. Is there a motion?
Move 5.1 to 5.6.
second,
Madam Clerk, I'll let you sort out who that second was.
Councilmember Alone is who I heard.
Okay.
I got
Is
the
there,
quicks, man.
got to be quick. Is there any discussion? See no
I just
discussion.
say we let council member Alone take all the.
I say I'll leave it to your discretion, Steve.
This, for the record, this is also the last full meeting for Councilman Alone. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Councilmember Hudson,
Aye.
Councilmember Alone,
Aye.
Councilmember Perkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zafar,
Aye.
and Mayor Clarkson.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes 5-0. Item 6, special presentations, we have none this evening. Item 7, deferred consent items, we also have none this evening. Item 8, adoption of ordinances. 8.1, ordinances approving the City Walk development agreements. Ordinance 503, adopting City Walk development agreement regarding Bishop Ranch Parcel 1A. Ordinance 504, adopting City Walk development agreement regarding Bishop Ranch Parcel 3A. And Ordinance 505, adopting City Walk development agreement regarding Bishop Ranch Parcel 2600.
Martin, can we, I should ask, is there a staff presentation or overview on this?
If this is just a second reading, if there's no one that wants to speak on this item, we can close the public hearing and then just move forward with adoption. And as long as we waive the readings and read by title only.
If we could do the reading and then I'll open up for public comment. Dave, would you like to do that?
Yeah, if you'll allow me to waive the second reading, I will move. Is this what you're asking for? Just, we don't need to entertain. We can just open up the public hearing and see if anybody wants to speak, and I'll move. Is that what you're saying, Martin?
Yes.
Mayor? Okay.
You may open it up for, you should open it up for public speaking, because I don't believe that we closed the public hearing the last time. So, so if the motion is to adopt, you can make the motion, and then prior to voting,
Correct.
if you would read the titles.
And
Exactly
you want them
right.
one at a time, correct?
Actually, with this one, because there's no changes, we can go ahead and just do them.
Oh, bless you. I'll move the adoption of ordinance 503, adopting City Walk development agreement regarding Bishop Ranch Parcel 1A, that's DA 20-850-1. And ordinance 504, adopting City Walk development agreement regarding Bishop Ranch Parcel 3A, that's DA 20-850-2. And ordinance 505, adopting City Walk development agreement regarding Bishop Ranch Parcel 2600, that's DA 20-850-3, and waive the reading.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment. Madam Clerk, could you alert people?
For those in the audience that would like to speak on this item, please use the raise your hand button or *9 on your telephone at this time.
I want to give people a second to do that. Was there any written comments on this?
I did not receive written comments for this item.
Okay. Seeing nobody raising their hand, I will close the public hearing. Comments? Anybody have any further discussion on the motion? I do not see any. Okay, Scott.
I just want to thank staff, particularly Joe and Debbie, who did most of the negotiating, along with our park staff, I'm sure, and all the people who played a role in this, and working with the Sunset Development team, Jerry Engen and Alex Marin, to make this come to pass. This will be the biggest thing in San Ramon for the next 25 years. And I think we've done a fabulous job of making it work for San Ramon and making it work for Sunset Development. A lot of people don't believe in win-wins. They believe it's a zero-sum game. But I believe that we can have something that suits all and serves all. So thank you very much, staff and Sunset Development.
I'll second.
I want to echo, see no further hands being raised. I want to echo Scott's comments. I think this is a great, again, partnership with the city and with Sunset Development. I think over the next 20 to 25 years, a very robust and vibrant walking district is going to arise, and it's going to be a really cool place for both us as residents to enjoy and for those who want to visit our beautiful valley. So, Sabina, you have a comment.
Yeah, and just continuing on to what Scott said and adding to what you said, Mayor, a lot of hard work has gone into this development agreement. Thank you, Joe and Debbie and Martin, and really our commissioners as well as the discussions we had. It is a very important agreement for San Ramon. It is, we really.
You're breaking up, Sabina.
Sure.
You froze.
Yep. We'll give her a second.
Can you guys still hear me or?
Yes,
Yes,
now
we
we
can.
can.
Yes, thank you
Okay.
for doing that.
I may have to turn off my video if I start breaking up again, as it says bad internet connection or some reason. Just want to say, I was, just making a comment that this is a very important thing we're doing for San Ramon, and I really appreciate, I think everybody on this council and this team is going to go down in history of negotiating this development agreement for San Ramon and doing the best. And, I really appreciate all the hard work that Sunset has done to make sure that they're really a good partner for the city. So I look forward to seeing this in another 27 years become a reality.
Oh, yeah, me too. 27 years. You might.
We'll all enjoy it, Dave. You'll still be
Oh,
running
yeah.
around. You'll still be running around the lake.
Horizontal or vertical, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, not seeing any further comment, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hudson,
Aye.
Councilmember Alone,
Aye.
Councilmember Perkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zafar,
Aye.
and Mayor Clarkson.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes 5-0. Item 9, City Council appointments, we have none. Item 10, approval of minutes. Before you are the minutes from the City Council special meeting on November 10th and the City Council regular meeting on November 10th for your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll move approval of City Council special meeting November 10 and City Council regular meeting November 10.
Third. You gotta get in there alone.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Hudson,
Aye.
Councilmember Alone,
Aye.
Councilmember Perkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zafar,
Aye.
and Mayor Clarkson.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes 5-0. Item 11, unfinished business, 11.1, continue public hearing, Crow Canyon specific plan. Staff report by Cindy Yee, Senior Planner.
Hello, Cindy.
Hi, thank you and good evening, council members and mayor. I'm here this evening to provide you just a brief presentation. We're here this evening to conduct the 5th public hearing on the Crow Canyon specific plan update, soon to be the San Ramon Village specific plan. On November 10th, the City Council held their 4th public hearing where the reading of the ordinance and resolution was introduced to the City Council for consideration. The council directed staff to report and receive a recommendation from the Planning Commission. On November 17th, the Planning Commission reviewed the revised public review draft and recommended approval to the City Council without any further changes to the public review draft. And so this evening, we're hoping to continue that public hearing and receive additional comments. Attached for your consideration this evening is the ordinance and resolution, which would approve the update to the specific plan. So with that, I will go ahead and open myself up to any questions or comments that you might have.
I don't see any questions, but perhaps we can go to public comment before we close the public hearing. Would that be okay with the council? Seeing acknowledgement, we will open the public comment. Please, Madam Clerk, if you could instruct folks if they'd like to make comments.
For those in the audience that would like to speak on this item, please use the raise your hand button or *9 on your telephone. And I do have one written comment for this item as well.
Let's go do the written comment in case anybody thinks about raising their hand. They give plenty of opportunity.
Okay. So the written comment is from Jim Blickenstaff. The approximately 1,800 new people this revised plan will bring into the city should have, by the city's own standards, 9.6 to 11.7 acres of new parks. Instead, it has creek corridor insufficient acreage. A creek corridor is incompatible with the green space needs associated with public serving park. To the extent the city adds adjacent areas next to the corridor, those areas could contribute a proportional percentage of the park acreage needed. Depending on the extent of which their amenities are consistent with public serving park functions, such as playgrounds, soccer fields, baseball fields, cricket courts, picnics, and common areas, parking/staging area, etc. It appears that public park needs are taking a backseat to higher planning priorities. The Planning Commission decided to add another 109 units to their current plan, SB 330, will only exacerbate the park deficiencies. A 17% increase in this plan's population would significantly alter the current village configuration, add to traffic, streetscape impacts, and disrupt zoning cohesiveness. Also, there will be a need for another 1.7 acres of parks over the original calculation. The park demands for dense housing, as we know, will actually be greater than those normally associated with housing that includes front and backyards. Therefore, the emphasis should be more on park acreage, not less. Then there's the question of what becomes of the 109 units that were originally moved from CCSP to another city plan. I believe it was the NCRP. Now that the original justification for those 2 units being added to that other plan has been removed, will those extra units also be removed? Adequate park acreage is a key quality of life issue for the residents of San Ramon. At the last city council meeting, the problem was only marginally addressed. Tonight, the city council has one last opportunity to, at very least, address the seriousness of the park's deficient results from the CCSP before it becomes permanently embedded in a final approval. Thank you, Jim Blickenstaff.
Anybody else has raised their hand?
Yes, I do have, it looks like one person has raised their hand at this time. And it's from Dennis No.
Invite Dennis in, and Dennis, as a reminder to keep your comments, if you could, to 3 minutes or less.
That would be fine. Thank you, council members. My comment today is about, my objection has been always about the traffic. And when I had been to a former council meeting, Mr. Perkins had talked to me after the meeting and mentioned that we would have a traffic study. To me, my objection is not the amount of units in our redevelopment area. It's just where it's located. We're talking about a high-rise situation that's virtually 200 feet off of San Ramon Valley Boulevard. And when you add in those 700 houses and then the property where the outpost is going to be, you're talking about the size of a transit village virtually right on San Ramon Valley Boulevard. And I just think it would be better served to have these houses spread out farther. So when people pull into their residences, they're not pulling in right off the boulevard. I just think it's a formula for a huge traffic mess. I would like to see a traffic study to know just exactly the input, because I traveled on this road to where I worked in Danville for 25 years. And it's traffic in the morning, it's traffic coming home. And if there's an accident, it's a nightmare. And when you add all this on top of that, you're talking about potentially a traffic nightmare every single day. And this is the entrance to San Ramon from Danville. This is the old road we've always known. And again, it's not the amount of units, because we want that for our numbers, but the transit, the village right there at the 4 corners where the outpost is and the masonry is, it just seems that would not be the right place for the high density. And I brought this up many times at all the workshops and whatnot. I would like to see a traffic study to know exactly the input on this. And are we talking about good traffic all the time or planned bad traffic twice a day. I thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Madam Clerk, anybody else?
Yes. Brian Winter.
Sorry, Council. I assume this is the Crow Canyon specific plan, but my internet connection is horrible tonight. I'm hoping you can hear me. If this is the correct agenda item, then I did want to briefly speak on it.
It is, and we hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Clarkson. Brian Winter from Miller Star Regalia on behalf of Windflower Fields LLC and Mr. Dr. Hassan Sharifi. We sent another short letter to you all today, intend to make brief comments tonight. We expressed some additional thoughts with respect to the CCSP update and how or the extent to which it complies with SB 330's, I say this loosely, down zoning limitations, which are contained in our letter. The bigger concern, of course, is our focus is and has been intended only to focus on the project we are attempting to develop at the 2701 Hooper Drive site that my client owns. And there has been, at least in our view, perhaps a little bit of ambiguity as we perceive it with respect to the vested rights that we have pursuant to the preliminary application we filed, which would allow the development of the residential project we've proposed under the existing CCSP, not the new CCSP, and that would be with respect to all provisions of the CCSP, including the new development standards and design standards set forth in the new CCSP. So the vesting would allow the project we propose to proceed under all of the existing rules prior to the enactment of this new CCSP. Understanding that the city has had some desire perhaps to eliminate the residential density on this site in its entirety, we would think that there would be some interest in the lesser density project that we are wrestling with as a possibility. And I would again suggest that we are willing and would like to have that conversation with the council to see if there's an interest in the slightly lower density project that we are willing to entertain. So I put that out there again for the council to consider. An early study session, given the time constraints, would be important, and we would be happy to have that conversation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brian. Madam Clerk, anybody else raise their hand?
No, it appears that was the last request to speak.
Okay, I will close the public hearing then. Looking to Dave Hudson.
Yeah, I guess I have a question for Cindy on this. I'm trying to get my hands around what the second speaker was talking about, hundreds of homes and high density. And the only two projects that I know of that are in there, I know there's a letter on Cortese, was well, the Outpost, which I don't know when or if that's ever going to go. And I've got the letter here that Mr. Winters is talking about, which is 3,800 homes. So I don't think he's talking about 200 homes there. Am I missing something? Is there another project, or I mean, where is this high density whatever?
I think the question was related to Mr. Winter's comments about where his particular project.
Oh, okay, that's enough, Cindy. Yeah, there's no 200 home proposal is the point. Yeah, okay.
Any other comments from other council members?
I guess as far as the traffic study goes, we have one, right? We've done that as part of the CEQA.
We do. So that was attached to the addendum. The traffic study itself is in the appendix, as well as the analysis for traffic is within the addendum document. And it was also further updated when we added back in the 101 units. And so there's a memo in your November 10th packet that addresses the additional increase.
Thank you.
I don't see any hands raised. I apologize. Has there been a formal reading of the resolution for the record yet?
Not tonight, there has.
There has not been. as
Does
yet.
somebody wish to do that at this stage?
Dave, what Dave? He does it so well.
No. I have no problem reading the resolution, but there was something in here that I don't know if this council wants to deal with it or will wait and deal with it down the road, because part of the thing is direction. But I can tell you, and I believe, I'm not sure how long you were online, Mayor, but ABAG has got some strange things coming at us. And if there is an opportunity to get single family detached homes anywhere, I want to give direction to staff that we take a serious look at it. And I'd really like to get your opinions on that, because I just don't know where we're going to get it. And that's what I'm reading in this letter. So it's nowhere near the 200. It's, I don't know, 40 or 30 or something like that, depending on which way we go. And I'm not sure how far it stretches other than that we can discuss, but there is a letter that says they're willing to entertain single family detached homes in the amount of 30 something. And I would ask that the council consider whether or not we give staff direction to take a look at it.
Well, in terms of clarity, I would think that we'd want this to go through the planning commission and having that discussion with that group before it comes to us for direction. And this is the last time that at least two of us will be in this discussion. So I'm more inclined to let that discussion percolate for the new council and let the new council give the staff direction.
I agree. I just thought that because there's a couple of you not here, if you want to chime in, you'd get the opportunity. I don't want you coming to public comment alone.
You can rest assured it won't be on the San Ramon Village specific plan, Dave.
All right.
I have tremendous.
I'm fine. I agree with what Bill said. It's a matter for you folks and the new members.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, an opportunity there. Otherwise, I'll move that, what do we got? Adopt ordinance 506 and resolution number 2020-113 approving the CCSP update and the EIR addendum. Whatever readings I would have to do on a second reading, waive that too.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And Scott, you wanted to make a comment?
No, I wanted to ask Martin whether we needed two votes. One's a resolution, one's an ordinance.
It'd probably be better to do two. Since there haven't been any changes, we probably do one, but we definitely need to read by title only on the ordinance.
Okay, we'll make it two separate votes.
Okay, I was reading this recommendation of staff, Martin.
We need two separate motions then.
My mute is on. I'll let Mr. Perkins make the motion.
I move ordinance 506, amending the city zoning map to expand the Crow Canyon specific plan boundary area and adopting development standards and zoning regulations, SPA 20-800-001 and IS 20-250-001. Waive the second reading, read by title only, and that's it for that one.
Is there a second for this?
I'll second it, Philip.
All right.
Boys.
It's been moved, it's been seconded. Any other further discussion? Not seeing that, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hudson,
Aye.
Councilmember Alone,
Aye.
Councilmember Perkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zafar,
Aye.
and Mayor Clarkson.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion for ordinance 506 passes 5-0.
I move resolution 2020-113 approving an update to the Crow Canyon specific plan SPA 20-800-001, an addendum to the Crow Canyon specific plan environmental impact report, collectively referred to as the Crow Canyon specific plan update.
Big
Is there a
chance.
second?
Second. I can't wait for him.
Come on.
It's
We
been
thought we
moved.
were going to give him the seconds.
It's been seconded. Any other discussion?
And preserve.
I do not see any hands raised. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Hudson,
Whoa, is there an attendee with a hand up that we missed?
We closed the public
Okay.
hearing.
All right,
Close the hearings.
okay, just checking. Aye.
Thank you, Dave.
Councilmember Alone,
Aye.
Councilmember Perkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zafar,
Aye.
Mayor Clarkson.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution number 2020-113 passes 5-0. We do have one hand raised for this item, but public comment is closed.
Yeah, the it was closed.
Okay.
So next item.
Item 11.2, Resolution 2020-114, authorizing the mayor to execute the Tassajara Agricultural Preservation Agreement. Staff report by Debbie Chamberlain, Community Development Director.
Good evening, Mayor.
Hello, Debbie.
Oh, good evening. How are you all? It's nice to be here presenting tonight to this council. It's been quite the planning event tonight, and pleased to wrap it up for you guys tonight with the Agricultural Preservation Agreement. So just a bit of a recap. The council met on November 10th to consider the Agricultural Preservation Agreement. The council discussed the open space preservation benefits the agreement offers, such as the creation of a green buffer along portions of the urban limit line boundary with ownership by the East Bay Regional Park District to preclude future expansions of the county urban limit line into the Tassajara Valley. Also, the opportunity for permanent and publicly accessible open space adjacent to Hidden Valley, and the $4 million Agricultural Enhancement Fund to support agricultural uses. Following the discussion, the City Council voted unanimously to vote to sign the APA. So the council directed us to return tonight with a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the APA on behalf of the city. Just as a note, the Board of Supervisors has yet to consider the project. And so San Ramon's authorization of the APA will show the city's commitment to preserving open space adjacent to our community. As the project does move forward, there's a potential that modifications may occur. And so those modifications will have to return to the council for subsequent review. So with that, we recommend that the City Council receive the report, discuss, and authorize the mayor to sign the Agricultural Preservation Agreement. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. And I did see that John Kopchak from Contra Costa County is on the meeting also.
Great. And I'd like, if I, with permission from the council, open up the public comment section for this first. Madam Clerk.
For those in the audience that would like to speak on item 11.2, please use the raise your hand button at this time or *9 on your telephone.
And you have written comment?
I do have written comment. I have two written comments, and one of the requesters has his hand raised and has provided a written comment as well.
Give them a choice, either one.
We'll take those in the audience first and then written comment.
Let's go written comment first, in case anybody else thinks about responding.
Okay. So the first comment is from Mr. Jim Blicken staff. Please note, a key point at issues remains that the preservation agreement does not effectuate any real preservation beyond the planned set side acreage to East Bay Parks. It fails on many levels to meet the standards for actual preservation as set by the Briones Preservation Agreement. Further, this agreement is irrevocably tied to an essential component of the 125 units, 50 acres, and Tassajara Parks development plan on the protected side of the ULL. It is wrong to portray it and vote on it as a standalone entity. Thank you, Jim Blicken staff.
And then you have somebody who has both written and a hand raised. Want to give them a choice?
Yes. So Richard Fisher has submitted written comment and he also has his hand raised. I'll go ahead and allow him.
Okay, I would like to speak to the council, Mayor Clarkson, members of the council. Can you hear me?
We can, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. I'd like to say there's been a lot of talk in staff's report and from others inferring that this agreement permanently preserves the Tassajara Valley. Other than the 727 acres donated by the developer to the Regional Park District, this agreement does not contractually bind any future Tassajara Valley development decision by the county and/or the city of San Ramon for any specified time period. And second, it is not true that any party may unilaterally withdraw from this agreement at any time in the future. That is, it is true that any party may unilaterally agree from the agreement at any time in the future without any penalty, making the agreement non-enforceable. And I would like to hear the city council's comment on that agreement as being non-enforceable and not binding any. Finally, I'd like to make this following statement. If the council agrees to support this agreement, this vote will enable the precedent of supporting unrestricted urban development outside the urban limit line in the rest of the Tassajara Valley with a simple donation of land to the Park District and a special development fee to the county. This is a definition of political pay to play. The only purpose of this agreement is to accommodate a developer, not preservation. It should rightfully be called a development agreement, and the council should reject it. And in my written comments, I mentioned that 4,700 petitioners support the council declining this development agreement. Thank you very much for permitting me to speak.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate the time you spent with us. Thank you. Madam Clerk, anybody else want to speak?
Yes, Joyce Carr.
Hi, Joyce. Hello, Joyce.
Oh, good evening. I did not want to speak on this item. I don't know how my name came up. Sorry.
That's okay. It was nice to hear your voice anyway, Joyce.
Okay, thanks.
Are you sure you don't want to talk on this item?
Yeah, you know what? This is an item that I have not studied that much, so I have comments on previous items today, but that's all behind us.
Thank you, Joyce.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Madam Clerk, anybody else?
No, that was the last request to speak.
Okay, then I will close the public hearing on this and entertain a motion prior to going to our discussion, if there is a motion.
I'll move item 2020-114, authorizing the mayor to execute the Tassajara Agricultural Preserve Agreement.
Is there a second? Okay, moved and seconded. Discussion.
I would like to make a friendly amendment that we call it Resolution 2020-114.
As amended.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
I just like to comment about that petition. I happened to look at the petition and noted that this has received, worldwide attention.
France.
Some of the signers were from Switzerland and the Netherlands and New Jersey and New York and literally all over the country. So I want to thank those people for weighing in on our local issues.
Well, and to be serious, I think the Tassajara Valley is one of the most beautiful places around the Bay Area, and I appreciate people's interest and concern.
And I think that I've met with Richard a number of times. He's a fellow parishioner at St. Joan of Arc and a very nice man, and has always been. I think it's we disagree about the potential result of something like this, and we both want to preserve the Tassajara Valley. And I view this as an opportunity to continue our longstanding philosophy of making East Bay Parks the best neighbor they can possibly be around us. So I I hope that we can have a similar result that we had last time. And I look forward to the fact that I believe this will preserve the Tassajara Valley permanently, both for a number of reasons, including the fact that the urban limit line is now separated by an East Bay Parks ownership from anywhere south of it, which I think is a very important factor in this. And there will be many opportunities for agricultural improvements out there with some of this money, and also other opportunities for open space and trails that I think will flow out of this.
And to be honest, I look forward to your continued leadership, Phil, on this issue into the future and whatever roles you start to play outside the city.
As long as you don't come to public comment.
Sabina.
I was just going to say, Phil, hopefully as part of your retirement, you'll be leading some hikes up there. So I'd be happy to join those and get a tour of the Tassajara Valley, which we've worked so hard to preserve.
Well, thank you. It's a bit of a huff, so bring lots of water. It's a beautiful piece of property and well worth preserving.
If I can say something on a serious note, Mayor, one of the things that we've been working on, and I say we, it's just people that lived here, for the last 40 years is a connection, even before Doherty Valley, a connection to Mount Diablo. And I don't know that it has gotten as much play out of this, but I don't think there is anything in what we've done that has stopped that vision from someday becoming a reality, if it's out Finley Road or wherever it is. But, you know, I'm sure that if we do something that would stop that, then Phil will come to public comment and bring friends.
And for clarity, Dave, I think you're talking about a connection by foot through trails. Correct. Okay.
No, you know, with RVs and but on trails.
Thank you. I just want to make sure
we
it's
used
clear.
to run on trails.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure it's clear that it's by through hiking and trails and those connections. Other discussion.
I was just going to say, I've been enjoying Stephen's map that he's put together. I would request that he tweet that out one day so people can also take a look and kind of see, you know, what that preservation has been and what it looks like. It really is pretty cool.
I agree with you, Sabina, and I'd like to see that as part of some sort of ongoing display at City Hall. I think it tells a wonderful story that can loop, and I'm sure Stephen, being a map whiz and clearly a passion of his, there's going to be an ability to tell incredible stories in the future by hitting buttons and seeing who was involved at various points in time from you know, from the early 1950s on. So I think it's a great story, and Stephen's put together an excellent product so far that he'll meld with Save Mount Diablo's work and be an ongoing story that can be told.
I fully agree. Phil, that's a great idea. Scott.
Yeah, there are, you know, a number of key elements that make this work. And one of them is, and Phil pointed this out, is the cooperation, participation with East Bay Park District. When you bring in the East Bay Park District, you create a green wall at the north end of Tassajara Valley, so that an urban limit line is you can't jump that and then create a new opportunity for building. That creates a stopper at the north end. Another key element is the fact that this is going to preserve 93%. The ratio is 93%, 7% of the developed land versus undeveloped. And that was another key. So if you can, every project you do, if you can save 93% of it, you're doing well. Another key element is the $4 million agricultural enhancement fund to support agricultural uses going forward. Those were the main elements that really caught my attention and makes this whole thing work. Yeah, we're moving the urban limit line by 30 acres. That's a fairly modest thing, but you're saving 727 acres forever. And the other 17,000 acres will be enhanced by the $4 million agricultural enhancement fund. So to me, this is really a no-brainer, and appreciate all the work that's gone into getting us to this point.
Seeing no further comment, Madam Clerk.
Well, do we have a motion?
Yes.
Yes, we,
Bill.
It's been moved and seconded.
it's been moved and seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Hudson,
Aye.
Councilmember Alone, Councilmember Perkins,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Zafar,
Aye.
and Mayor Clarkson.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes 5-0. Item 12, new business, we have none. Item 13, city manager comments.
You're frozen.
He's not frozen. He just doesn't want to do it.
Oh no, I've been I'm in the mode now.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Just a few tonight. Last Friday on November 20th, Contra Costa County Health Services, in collaboration with virtually all the cities in the county, reported out on a community behavioral health crisis response initiative that they initiated a couple weeks ago. Part of it was from some of the community advocates. Some was directives from the mayor's conferences, as well as the Contra Costa Health Services. So it's been a very large group of people that are trying to tackle some of the challenges from that we currently have with mental health issues in the county and how we respond to them, that up to and including police responses to those. It was very, very informative. We will place that also on our website if you want to take a look at it. But it was very powerful. It gave us a review of the current state of affairs, and this group was made up of industry professionals, advocates, city folks, hospital folks, and they basically just came together to take a look at the problem, tackle the problem, and look for solutions. So the initial launch was this collaborative mapping event, and now future responses will be some of the solutions that were produced at this event. It was a fantastic event. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, again, like I said, we'll place it on our website as well. It was amazing, and I invite anybody who has an interest in that area to take a look at it. The other issues we have going on are you'll notice in our rotunda, we're starting, I usually don't say this before Thanksgiving because, everybody gets mad when you start, talking about it before, but I'm going to go out there on a limb, no pun.
Not this year.
So instead of the large tree that we had in the center, I think everybody's aware of due to the pandemic and the lack of movement, Karen Smith, who is the executive assistant here in the city manager's office, recommended that we do a community trees and have several smaller trees in the rotunda so that folks that are outside and walking around can kind of take a look at it. And then when it's safe, and as it's safe, they can even move through the rotunda, and it gives the community the opportunity to actually view these trees and take part in the celebration. So that's underway. The first tree's been decorated. There's 6 or 7 more that need to be decorated, and I believe sometime in the middle of next week you'll start seeing trees popping up in the rotunda here at City Hall. So please take a look, if you get a chance, take a walk around, and so far it looks really, really nice. City Hall, our reconfiguration is continuing. We expect to be completed somewhere in the middle of December for our first phase, which is one group of offices. And then we'll start on the second phase, which will start relocating our community development office, which will be down in the main area. So we'll be reconfiguring that as soon as we make the move. Other than that, that's it for my updates.
Thank you, Joe. Madam Clerk.
Item 14, public comment.
This is the second public comment we have at each of our meetings. You can raise your hand through the city clerk's instructions if you'd like to address the council on any item that's not on this agenda. Madam Clerk.
For those in the audience, I would like to speak under public comment. Please use the raise your hand button or *9 on your telephone at this time.
I assume there's no additional written comments.
I did not receive any additional written comments.
I didn't think so. Any hands up?
No, it appears we have no hands raised.
All right, then I will close this second public comment section.
Item 15, city council members and mayor's comments.
We'll start with Mayor-elect Dave Hudson.
Yeah, two things of interest. Oddly enough, about 2 weeks ago, I was in Debbie Chamberlain's office talking about something that I see is going to be a problem. And then tonight, Sabina and I got an email. RVs are becoming very prevalent in the communities. It's going to be very difficult to deal with them in exactly the same way that we have in the past. We've got one complaint in front of us now. I'm sure it'll hit Joe, but this is, you got people living in these things, and I don't know where we're going to go from here, but I think we need to review what we're doing on the RVs, or code enforcement's going to be spending all their time driving around neighborhoods looking at complaints from neighbors. It's a growing thing. Second thing, went through a Bay Area Air Quality Management District Climate Protection Subcommittee meeting, and I'm getting the feeling that the state is getting extremely serious about doing away with gas in new construction. And I believe that we will see an announcement next year that after January 1st of 2022 or 2023, I'm not sure which, they're going to be expecting all electric in new construction, particularly with multifamily. Other than that, nothing exciting went on this month.
Dave, just curious, what's the state's plan for people to heat their water and heat their homes during blackouts? You're on mute.
When you want to be on mute, if you got to ask that question, I was to, there are several plans out there that I think, one that makes some sense, most of them don't. They expect cars to be all electric or renewable, so you could have hydrogen by 2040, the buses by 2029. But there is a plan, and you're going to see more and more of it, where the battery and the transformer and the you're charging up a battery, charging up your car, and if they do these we used to call rolling brownouts, you flip a switch and your car runs your house until it's back up and going. I saw exactly the same thing you did, Mayor, and I said, you guys are out of your minds. But most people will ask the question, instead of what you just said, they'll say, but wait a minute, I want to cook with gas. It's better. And I'm trying to be polite about this. If you really think this state comes to legislation out of what's best for you, you haven't been paying attention. We're getting 4,700 homes in Arena.
Let me ask our engineer, Mr. Perkins, the amount of energy required to heat water from batteries.
Is this are we Brown acting here, city attorney?
We're not making decisions.
Okay,
we're
you
just
can
having
have the public
discussion.
comment, Phil.
Well, I was going to mention, of course, I'm on the board with MCE, Marin Clean Energy, and we just voted to form a JPA with other what they call CCAs, which is community choice aggregators, like MCE. And the purpose of this new JPA is to put out requests for proposals that would be for 50 megawatt battery systems that could output for a minimum of 8 hours at 50 megawatts. And this is because during the middle of the day, there's lots and lots of power available. But in the evenings and during brownouts, we need some other sources. And so the idea is to build a substantial number of these 50 megawatt battery or storage systems. They don't have to be batteries, by the way. They could be some other kind of storage system, but they've got to be able to produce 50 megawatts for a minimum of 8 hours. And we would be in it with other CCAs going forward. So the power companies are looking at the brownouts. Now, these aren't related to the PSPSs, the ones that are related to weather. These are the ones related that we had one, in August where the state just didn't have enough power because the heat blob was over the entire West Coast, and we couldn't buy power from Washington and Oregon during that time. So we're looking at solutions. The power company recognizes that they don't have all the resources they need.
Let me finish
These
this
are
up.
microgrids?
If I can finish this up, Mayor, the issue that these people are dealing with is that cooking produces more NOx than all the cars that we have driving around in the Bay Area. They're doing it as climate change. And whenever I see climate change, I know we got problems.
Yeah, I want to be respectful to Phil's concern about us not getting too far afield of this. So Phil, thank you for keeping us lined up. And Scott, continue your councilman comments unless you're all done.
Well, this actually came out of my last meeting with the MCE board. The JPA was a major topic of discussion. That's going to be moving forward. During emergency last year, this past year, we had some of our purchases were at over $1,000 per megawatt hour, and they were asking prices of over $5,000 per megawatt hour. And so having these batteries will help that. We also authorized our CEO to make verbal commitments to purchase power in the short term. The normal is about 30 megawatts, is about $30 per megawatt hour. We have a rate stabilization fund. We also call it our operating reserve fund. This is actually upstream of our income. So we pull money off the top, set it aside so that on those occasions where our revenue is hit by extremely high prices or low revenue, we can supplement that and maintain our income. Fairfield will be joining us in 2022. They will be the 4th or 5th largest city in MCE at about 8%. Our board chair, Kate Sears, supervisor from Marin County, is retiring, and she will be replaced. Our new chairman will be Tom Butt, who some of you know, the mayor of Richmond. Chanel Scales Preston of Pittsburgh will be the vice chair. That's my report from the MCE board. And I want to thank Bill and Phil. I know we're going to get one more chance to thank you, but you guys have been outstanding to work with.
Thank you, Scott.
Phil.
I'm not sure what this relates to the Tri-Valley San Joaquin Valley Regional Rail Authority. Their December meeting is the day after our next council meeting. And I don't know if you would like me to just sit in for that for continuity's sake. Just wanted to bring that up, Mayor-elect Hudson. And I'm not sure how your appointments are going to go, but I know Stephen did a similar thing when he was on the Livermore Council. So it came to mind and I wasn't sure what to do.
If you'd like to, I'll be there, you go there.
Okay.
I've always found that if you go to something first, like I went to, there's two of these. There's the San Joaquin, whatever, and I sit in on those so that you don't get surprised when you're on it. But the position that you're in right now, you guys are in, you positioned yourself well to make that next step. And we're not going to just start over and learn over. We're going to get the Valley Link going. It's a promise I made to Scott. So sit in, I'll watch.
Okay. And nothing else at this point in time, and wanted to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Sabina.
Okay, let me know if I'm breaking off because I get these strange expressions when I start breaking off. So we had the traffic board meeting, which we're still trying to, I guess we're waiting for the school district to make their final decision on whether they are going to be able to open back up on January 5th or not. We're all seeing that we're back in purple. So, and we're now under this curfew as well, where we should not be outside between the hours of 10 and 5, if people haven't heard yet from the state being in purple. So I guess we'll find out if traffics will continue or not, depending on what comes out of the school board. Interesting statistics that we learned during that meeting was that Doherty Valley, only 6 to 8% of the students
Breaking up, Sabina.
return back to school. Whereas, okay, I'm going to turn off my video.
Okay.
So what we learned as part of that meeting, school board, I think 2 to 8% of Doherty Valley Doherty Valley kids are opting to return back to school if they go with the hybrid model in January, whereas Monte Vista is like 60%. So just goes to show how our community is, is reacting to and really, managing the pandemic, if you will. Our cases are some of the lowest as well. I keep an eye on that, and San Ramon's been doing really well. So want to thank all our residents for really wearing the masks and really being careful. We can't control all of it. We have to make sure that people are responsible in doing this. So that was just traffics. I'm going to try and turn my.
Nope. It's not working, Sabina.
Hmm?
It wasn't working. You froze. Again.
All right.
All right.
All right. Now you can hear me better.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I just, I know we'll probably get one more opportunity to say this, but with both Councilmember Lone and Mayor Clarkson, your last meetings, I want to say, as somebody who's a newcomer to this council, who joined only 2 years ago, it's been phenomenal working with both of you. I have learned so much just watching you guys, as well as talking to you, learning from you, and I appreciate really, how inclusive you guys were. I know you've all four of you have worked together and served together for a long time. So, there's always that unwritten bond you build between each other. And so being welcoming and open and letting me join the team, I would say, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your service to San Ramon. For Phil, for you, 16 years or more, and Mayor Clarkson, as mayor for the last 9 years, what you guys have done, what you've laid down as a foundation for San Ramon. I know one of the comments Phil made once was that San Ramon wasn't always this great. So a lot of work has been done, and both of you have been a key part of where San Ramon is today and why we're all so proud that we live here in San Ramon. So I just wanted to say thank you to both of you.
That was very
Thanks,
nice.
Sabina. Bill,
Thank
could I just make one other, thank you, Sabina, that's very nice. The city manager is like getting out of hand with his comments. I mean, this is like, I hope this trend doesn't continue. I feel like a junior member of the Senate or something with this.
10 o'clock curfew, it can't.
Yeah, borderline filibuster. But I would just, Joe's commitment to this mental health thing, I think is really, it's deeply ingrained in him. And I really appreciate it, Joe, because you bring a different perspective than almost anybody would who would sit in that seat as a former police chief and also somebody who's committed to doing better. And, this whole, this poorly branded notion of defunding the police, I don't think anybody really in their heart of hearts means it in its purest sense. I think what you're trying to do is to figure out how we can help the community better by not necessarily having a police officer have to respond to circumstances that they might not be the best first responder. And I think you're really, I commend you and the rest of that committee. This is hard work, and there are better ways of doing it than the county does now. And I think there will be, unfortunately, a lot of opportunities to prove it. And but I just really appreciate you being first to the table with that, Joe. So wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Thanks,
Thank you, Phil. I really would echo your comments, Phil. In fact, for those of us who get the police update every week and read it, this last week was really disturbing on the number of mental health calls. I mean, there's sometimes 4 or 5 a day. So it's just, so Joe, echoing Phil's comments, thank you, your leadership. I'm sure anything that Phil and I can do down the road for the rest of the council, we're happy to play a role in any way. My only comments is that we'll have one more meeting as a council, at least one that I'll start it. Dave will take it over, but that'll be an opportunity for us to say some comments. And so I'm going to reserve most of my comments for that next meeting to get a chance to do that. And I really want to congratulate Dave and Scott for their hard-earned victories. Anybody who steps into the arena of public policy and runs for office needs to be always has my appreciation and gratitude, winners and of those who don't prevail. It is an arduous, difficult thing to go through. And we are a rich community for having wonderful people who have taken the opportunity to run for office, school board, fire board, Dublin San Ramon Service District, you name it. So just want to make a comment. Our next meeting, we'll get a chance to do our closing comments for each other. And as I was talking to Joe today, I think the reason that this city does well is really we got great staff. And Joe, you all the way down through department heads, down through to everybody in the department, especially in this pandemic, the last 8 or 9 months. The residents of San Ramon are truly grateful for what everybody does, especially in our public safety department. So I know you're always telling them that we're saying great stuff about them, and we are. So thank you. I'll close my comments on that. Madam Clerk.
Item 16, closed session. 16.1, convene to closed session pursuant to Government Code 54957 to perform evaluation of the city attorney.
So I believe we will all go off, and then you will have another link to come back in.
Yes, you've all been sent a separate link.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Scott.
Okay.
So are the results final?
No,
That's what I thought.
I'm up by 70.
I looked right before the meeting.
There's 1,200 ballots.
Can I just remind you that you are streaming and being recorded right now with an audience?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was just wondering if those were final results. That's publicly available information, Christina. Thank you.
There's 1,200 ballots. Some of them are provisionals and some of them are vote by mail. I suspect all of them are what I would call troubled, or they would have been cleared by now.
Oh,
Some of them may never actually get tabulated because of their troubles, but that's,
okay.
If one assumes that they're evenly distributed, that means there's 96 ballots associated with San Ramon.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That assumes they're evenly distributed throughout the county. You take 1,200, we're 8% of the county.
Got it.
Ballots. If you divide that by 4 with 4 districts, then that's 24 ballots in District 1. 24
Got it.
ballots in District
So
2, 24 in 3.
Christina, Dave, Bill was going to be a few minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
There's a trail for you, Phil.
Hey, that's the one coming up on your 100 miler or your 1,000 miler thing, or whatever you call
That's
it.
about 15 miles into it. Everybody feels good then,
Yeah.
unless there's snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to find the trail, huh? That's the way most of it is.
I've been there where there's been snow on the ground and you lose the trail. You completely lose the trail because you're just going between trees and the trail can go anywhere between trees. Yeah.
You look like that early. You look like that late.
Yeah.
You look like that crossing the river.
Oh. Joe, that's a good look for you.
You know what's amazing to me is it's daylight she's crossing the river.
Yeah.
Which is amazing unless it's tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Then that's not fun at all. There is nothing worse than when that sun hits your skin the second day. Like needles. See, I can show you pictures like that because I can't even make it around the block.
I just bought a bike today.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Wait for the
Which one
electric.
did you get?
It's a Trek Verb. It's a hybrid bike. Rochelle and I got the same model. She got the drop, what they used to call a girl's bike, right? And I got the regular one. They happen to have them in Dublin.
Nice. Yeah, Trek are really good. I like those bikes. They were completely out of the Treks for a while.
Yeah. So they have a Trek apparently has a collection now. They've actually fed into a retail network. So it isn't just independent bike shops. So I suspect that's helping their supply. All right. Are we?
No, not quite. Is that electric?
No.
That's not, he said hybrid.
Yeah.
Okay, I have the language, so we can go back into session. Let's see. I hope is Martin coming back on, Joe?
Yes, he's coming back on.
Okay.
And you are recording right now, just so everybody's aware.
Okay.
Hang on, he's having a little technical difficulties. Let me help him.
Like you're doing the Cheshire Cat thing.
Who?
Oh,
Who, Phil?
Joe's doing the Cheshire Cat thing.
Yeah, Joe.
I hear the stores are out of toilet papers again.
Thank
Really?
you. Okay, I'm back.
What's up
Sorry
with
about that.
hoarding?
It's crazy.
Yep. Okay. Madam Clerk.
16.2, report on closed session.
It's my pleasure to report out the City Council, by the vote of 5-0, elected to extend the employment contract of the city attorney for an additional year. The council will consider an employment contract that includes a salary increase effective September 25th, 2020 to $20,000 per month, including management incentive pay. And that's my report out. Madam Clerk?
Item 17, adjournment.
We will adjourn. Everybody enjoy their
It's
evening.
not 10 o'clock yet.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Stay
Thank you,
safe.
Joe. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Christina
Bye-bye.
and Jocelyn.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.